Okay, we're gonna start chapter 2. It's called, also, by the way, these chapters are not actual, they don't say chapter 1, chapter 2, they just have titles, so that's just the way it is. Alright, hello operator, which is chapter 2. The next morning, after his usual 30 to 45 minutes of coughing, Oswald lit his first cigarette, picked up the phone, and called the number on the brochure. "I'm sorry, sir, but that number isn't valid. Are you sure you have the right number?" "I know it's the right number. I'm looking at it right now." "What area code are you trying to call?" "Well, I don't know. It's the Woodbound Hotel in Lost River, Baldwin County, Alabama." "Let me connect you with the information for that area." In a moment, another operator answered. "May I help you?" "I hope so. I'm just trying to reach the Woodbound Hotel." Part of me really, offhanded for a second, part of me wonders if this is I don't know, in my mind, at the Woodbound Hotel, for some reason in my mind, the Grand Hotel in Fairhope, actually, is what comes to mind whenever he's talking about this. Which I don't know. I actually don't know what year this is supposed to be taking place in. Let's see. I mean, it was written in 2007, it was written in 2004. I have no idea when this book is actually supposed to take place. I mean, if you're talking to an operator, I can only assume it's, not a current time in the 2000s. So, I don't really know how long the Grand Hotel has been there. But, in general, that's what I'm picturing whenever he's talking about. I'm picturing that area, Spanish Fort, general Baldwin County type area. Oh well. Okay, sorry. Alright. Trying to reach the Woodbound Hotel. "Just a moment, sir. I'll check that for you right away." The operator had such a thick southern accent he thought she must be joking with him. "I'm sorry, sir, but we don't have a listing for the Woodbound Hotel anywhere in Baldwin County." "Oh, well, where are you?" "I'm in Mobile." "Is that in Alabama?" "Yes, sir." "Have you ever heard of a place called Lost River?" "No, sir, I haven't." "Is there a listing for anything down there?" "Just a moment, let me check that for you." "Sir, I have a listing for the Lost River Community Hall and one for the post office. Would you like me to connect you to either of those numbers?" "Yes, let me try the first one. They might be able to help me." Okay. Not 5 minutes earlier, Mrs. Frances Cleaverton, an attractive, slightly plump woman with white hair as soft as spun cotton candy, and her younger sister Mildred, had just entered the back of the community hall through the kitchen. It was 72 degrees outside, and the hall was hot and stuffy, so they opened the windows and turned on the overhead fans. It was the first Saturday of the month. That was last weekend. No, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I just think it's kind of funny that I'm starting this roughly around the same time that it is currently in present day. Okay. Tonight was the monthly meeting and potluck dinner of the Lost River Community Association. They were early to deliver what they had made for the potluck dinner and to get the place ready for the evening. Frances had bought 2 covered dishes, one a green bean casserole, the other macaroni and cheese, and several desserts. Mildred, who had prepared fried chicken and a pork roast, heard the phone ring but ignored it. But when Frances came back in from the car, Mildred said, "Don't answer that. It's probably Miss Alma, and we'll never get her off the phone." After another trip to the car for 2 cakes and 3 pecan pies, the phone was still ringing. Frances said, "You know she's not going to give up." and picked up the receiver 1 second before Oswald was going to hang up. "Hello? Hello? Hello?" she said again. "Who is this?" "This is Frances. Who is this?" she asked, with the same southern accent as the operator. "This is Oswald Campbell. I'm trying to find the phone number for a hotel." "Well, Mr. Campbell, this is the community hall you've reached." "I know, the operator gave me this number." "The operator? Where are you calling from?" "Chicago." "Oh, my." "Do you happen to have the number for the Woodbound Hotel? It's a health resort that's supposed to be down there." "The Woodbound Hotel? Have you ever heard of it?" "Yes, I've heard of it, but it's not here anymore." "Did it close?" "Well, no, it burned down." "When?" "Just a minute, let me see if my sister knows," Frances called out. "Mildred, when did the old hotel burn down?" Mildred looked at her funny. "About 1911. Why?" "Mr. Campbell, it was in 1911. "In 1911? You're kidding." "No, they said it burned to the ground in less than an hour." "Oh, well, could you give me the name of another hotel I could call?" "Down here?" "Yes. There isn't any." "Oh. There used to be a few, but not anymore. If you don't mind me asking, how on earth did you hear about the old Woodbound Hotel all the way up there in Chicago?" "My doctor gave me a brochure, but obviously it was a little out of date. Thanks anyway." Hold on a second, Mr. Campbell," she said, and called out, "Mildred, close that screen door. You're letting the flies in." "I'm sorry, Mr. Campbell. What kind of place were you looking for?" "Just somewhere to spend a couple of months this winter, get out of the cold weather for a while. I have a little lung problem." "Oh dear, that's not good." "No, my doctor said I needed to get out of Chicago as soon as possible." "I can understand that. I bet it's cold up there." "Yes," he said, trying not to be rude, but also wanting to hang up. This call was probably expensive. But Mrs. Cleaverton continued talking. "Well, it's hot down here. We just had to open the windows and turn all the fans on." "Hold on, Mr. Campbell. I've got to close that door." While he was waiting, he could actually hear the sounds of birds chirping in the background over the long distance. It must be some of those damn whippoorwills, he thought, and they were costing him money. Frances picked up the phone again. "Here I am, Mr. Campbell. Now, would this be a place for you and your wife, or just you?" "Just me." "Have you tried anywhere else?" "No, I wanted to try there first. It sounded like a nice place. Oh well, thanks anyway." "Mr. Campbell, wait a minute. Give me your number. Let me see if I can come up with something for you." He gave her his number just to get her to hang up. What a crazy place. Evidently, they would just talk the head off any stranger who happened to call. You have no idea. 'Cause yes, we will. That reminded me of my nanny, because she certainly will. Oh, man. Mildred came back into the kitchen after putting flowers on the 2 long tables in the other room. "Who were you on the phone with for so long?" "Some poor man from Chicago with bad lungs who needs a place for the winter. His doctor had given him a brochure for that old hotel, and he thought he might want to come here." She walked over and pulled out the huge coffee pot. "Why did it burn down, I wonder?" "They say it was rats and matches." "Oh, Lord," said Frances, opening a large, dark brown can of A&P 8 o'clock coffee. I know that coffee. "They'll just chew on anything, won't they?" Around 3 o'clock the next afternoon, Oswald was about to pick up the phone to make another call to Florida when it rang. "Hello?" "Mr. Campbell, this is Frances Cleaverton, the lady you spoke to in Alabama yesterday. Do you remember me?" "Yes, of course." "Listen, have you found a place yet?" "No, not yet, but not one I can afford anyway." "Yes, well, if you still have a mind to come down here, I think I found a place for you. We have a very nice lady next door to me, and she would be happy to rent you a room for however long you want it." "Huh. said Oswald. How much do you think she would charge? She told me that $50 a week would suit her just fine, if that was all right with you. Of course, that would include all of your meals. Is that too much? Oswald added up his $600 a month pension, plus the small military medical discharge check from the government, and figured he could handle it. The places in Florida he called had been double and triple that amount. No, that rate sounds fine to me. When would it be available? Betty said for you to come on any time. The sooner the better. The river is pretty this time of year. But now, Mr. Campbell, before you decide on anything, I need to warn you. We are just a small place down here. All we have is one grocery store, probably a Piggly Wiggly, and a post office. But if it's warm weather and peace and quiet you want, I can guarantee you'll get plenty of that. Sounds good to me, he lied. He couldn't think of anything worse, but the price was right. He figured he should probably grab it before they changed their minds. Well, all right then, she said. Just call me back and let me know when you're coming, and we'll have somebody pick you up. Okay, but one more thing, Mr. Campbell, just so you know. We are very friendly and sociable down here, and good neighbors when you need us, but nobody is going to bother you unless you want them to. By and large, we mind our own business. That is the biggest lie I've ever freaking heard. Oh my god, Southern people don't mind their own business? Sorry. At least, sorry. What Francis had told Mr. Campbell was true. The people in Lost River did mind their own business. However, after having said that, Francis, a romantic at heart, could not help being a little optimistic. With 4 widows and 3 single women living in the with 4 widows and 3 single women living in the community. Having a new man around would certainly be interesting. One of the 3 single women was her sister Mildred. Frances was one of the widows, but she did not put herself in the running. She had been very happily married for 27 years and was perfectly content to live on memories. But as for the rest of the ladies, she was willing to let fate take a hand. After all, she was a Presbyterian and believed strongly in predestination. Besides, the day Mr. Campbell called happened to be the first Saturday of the month, usually the only day someone was at the hall, and that could not have just been a coincidence. Wouldn't it be wonderful if he turned out to be someone's knight in shining armor? The only other eligible man in Lost River was Roy Grimmett, who ran the grocery store. But he was only 38, too young for most of the women. Besides, after what had happened to him, it looked as if Roy was a confirmed bachelor for life. Too bad, she thought, because he was a handsome man and a nice one. But she and the others understood it. Once you've experienced true love, you don't want anybody else. And that's chapter 2.